I thought I'd do a normal video. Nah. Before I start, I would just like to thank a couple of fellow YouTubers. One of them, Aldo, his YouTube channel is here. He sent me a very, very cool Beatles keychain, which I do use. And also Vern Hester, his YouTube channel is here, or here. He sent me this very cool Let It Be Beatles poster, which is hanging on my wall, as you can see. And he also sent me the Beatles White Album puzzle. It's a two-sided puzzle, which I have not bothered putting together yet, but when I do, I'm going to film putting it together because my wife Deb is going to be doing most of the work. But she doesn't know that yet. So, yeah, it's a two-sided puzzle. That'll be hours of fun. Because you see, the Beatles' White Album, I was a little concerned at first because the front is just plain white and it's got this embedded. Or originally it wasn't even printed, it was just embedded on in white. But it's two-sided, so of course the other side is the vinyl records, which will be a little easier to do. So it's going to be kind of cool to put together. Although I'm kind of puzzled why Vern sent it to me. Puzzled. Now every Sunday or Saturday I'm uploading a video where I talk about rock music. But today, which is Saturday, I've decided it's still related to rock music because I love rock music so much. But it also involves being a bit of a criminal in my teenage years, me and a friend. Now, what we did was, we used to go to this Woolworth store in Trenton, Ontario, and we would buy a record, a vinyl record, and we would take it, usually from the cutout bin, so it'd be like $1 or $2. And what we would do is we would take it home, we would listen to it, and of course usually it's a pretty crappy record, because it was in the cutout bin to begin with. And then, see, I'm trying to put it all together exactly what we did because it was so long ago, but it was a really good thing we had going for a few months. What we would do is we would get the receipt. I know what we would do. We would buy a good album, so it was like back then $10, and we'd take it home, we'd keep the record, then we'd buy a cutout bin record, which is like $1. And we take that back with the receipt for the $10 record. See, this is a long time ago before the computerized stuff and all that, so it was kind of easy to do. And we would go to the customer service desk, and what my friend and I used to do, we used to do different things with the record. Sometimes we'd warp it a little bit. We'd go on the stove, and there'd be a time or two where we would over-warp the record, so it would be, you couldn't bring it back because it'd be, it'd be like, the whole record would be like that. But we would try and just put a little bit of a warp in it, because if there's too much of a warp in a vinyl record, it can't be played on the turntable, it would skip. So we would subtly warp it just enough so that it wouldn't play. And another thing we would do is we'd put a little scratch mark on it, and we would take it back to customer service and say, yeah, I just bought this record yesterday and it's got a scratch on it. Or, oh, it's warped, look at that, it's warped. And the woman would either, we'd either take the money, or, because we were both music crazy back then, we would get an exchange and get another record, another really good record. And we did this, maybe not for months, but we did this, well, I think it was for months. It was probably a good 4 or 5 months. And there'd be a time, I was so hooked on rock music and doing this, it was, and in order to get downtown from where we lived, it was a good 15-20 minute bike ride, but you know, when you're a criminal, you gotta get on that bike and go do your job. We should have worn masks, you know, but... So we would do this, and there'd be times we would do it almost daily. But then, of course, okay, they're starting to catch on, there's something not right here, so we'd skip a few days and then come back the next week and start it over again. Until the woman behind the counter would say stuff like, "Not you again," or, you know, they'd start to think things were kind of fishy. And the one time that really, it'd get you kind of nervous too, like, are you going to get away with this, or are they calling the cops? But, you know, you're kind of hooked on it, like a drug. And I think the last time that I did it, this woman said, "Well, I'm going to go and get the manager, and because there's something fishy going on here." And when she said that, I took off, and I didn't return to the store for a few weeks, and I never did that again, because I think they caught on. So yes, I was a teenage criminal, but it was all for the love of rock music, and, you know, a few dollars on the side. In fact, on my birthday, when I was in high school, I remember this other friend of mine, what he got me for my birthday was a record receipt. Which came in handy, actually. So that's that's a story. And next week I'll return to talking about rock music. So I hope you enjoyed me talking about being a criminal. And I've had a clean record except for a little bit of a warp and a little scratch for many years. This has been Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin. See you next Saturday or Sunday with another rock vlog.